Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this video, which is step 3, where we will deploy Azure Kubernetes cluster. We've done it several times, but we will just deploy the Azure Kubernetes cluster using the portal. So let me just quickly log on to the portal, take it from there. So this is where we left by uploading the Docker image onto the Docker Azure Container Registry. Now we'll click on Create a Resource. I will do Azure Kubernetes, right? I will do create resource group. I'm going to use what I'm using, test Azure my RSG. I will do test Azure AKS East US. I'm going to do zone 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go with the default version. We can upgrade it to the latest versions as well, but for this I'm going to use the default. Standard DS2 V2, you can change the size so that you are charged less. So if you would see the pricing, cost per month, you can do it like this. You can select S, select, let's go with 2. You can go with node 1 as well, and you can decrease and increase the node as well. Click on node pools. You can create multiple node pools as well, right? So if you want to read more about it, create and manage multiple node pools with AKS. You can add a node pool later as well. So I'm going to go with this agent pool. I'm placing 2 nodes here. I'm not enabling virtual nodes. So there are many topics that we have to, you have to cover. So this is the virtual nodes. I'm not doing it. For availability zones, let's say if you do not select availability zones, let's say you don't go with, then you have an option to uncheck and check this box, right? If you go with the availability zones, then this option would be grayed out and by default checked. Okay, I'm going to use system assigned managed identity. I'm going to use RBAC and the default encryption. I'm going to go with KubeNet. This is Azure CNI, wherein you get an option to create a new VNet, but KubeNet plugin creates a new VNet for your cluster using default values. So when I use KubeNet version, you have to go through the deep dive of AKS networking that is beyond the scope of this tutorial that I'm making, but KubeNet will create a new VNet by itself, right? You can enable the HTTP application routing on, you can enable this later as well. And you can enable private cluster, you can enable network policy to define the rules for ingress and egress traffic between the pods in a cluster. That is also the beyond the scope of this video, but it will be good if you read this. Or let's say I'm going to go with standard load balancer. You can integrate this ACR because we're going to push that Docker image to deploy an application onto this ACR. So I'm going to integrate it. You can integrate this later as well. This is if you want to enable container monitoring. I'm disabling it as of now. Tags. create. So this is your Kubernetes cluster. And as soon as this is done, I will show you how you connect to the AKS cluster. Deployment is complete. Let me go to resource, right? And now, if you would test AKS service, now this is the options you see, the namespaces come up. Default, kube node, kube public, kube system. Read more about them, right? Then you will be able to see this is the cluster configuration. From here, you can upgrade the version. We'll see to it later. And you see, if you click on connect here, right? So if you would open up the Cloud Shell, and you go for the advanced settings, use existing, this one, this one, this one, this one. It will quickly create a storage account. Then I'll be able to run the kubectl commands on the Cloud Shell. There you go. So you copy this command, you paste it, you run it, then you copy the second command, run it, you do this pods, it will run it. Okay, so I've not deployed any pods, right? So this is how you connect to it. So I hope this was informative for all of you guys. If you have any queries, please mention them in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.